Back to our channel. Now we are starting the osteology of upper limb. So today mainly we are going to start with clavicle. So the bones of upper limb are mainly 64 in number, right? And it is in turn of course 64 for two sides of the limb. So 32 on each side and 32 on other side. Like for example 32 on right side, 32 on left side. So actually we have everyone know 206 bones. So among them upper limb have 64 bones. So I think by completion of whole anatomy we are going to study all the 206 bones, like their features, right? Some of them are common, so don't worry, it's very easy. So upper limb bones are 64 on two sides, and of course it will be 32 bones on one side. So we'll start with the first bone, that is clavicle. So you can see this is called as clavicle, and it's a long bone. It mainly supports the shoulder and it transmits the weight of the limb to the sternum. Like here in this diagram you can see this is the upper limb, this is the sternum. So the weight of the upper limb is transmitted by means of a ligament present here called coracoclavicular ligament, which transmits mainly the weight of the upper limb by means of this coracoclavicular ligament into the sternum. So the weight of this upper limb is transmitted to the axial skeleton. So now we will see this. It's a long bone, transmits weight, and it's cylindrical shaft. Actually, this is a acromial end, means a lateral end. This is the medial end, and this is the shaft of the clavicle. And this shaft is mainly called cylindrical shaft because you can see it's somewhat cylindrical in shape. So you can see the medial end which attaches with the sternum, and the acromial end is lateral end which attaches to the acromial process of scapula. In next video we'll see the scapula, right? So we'll understand what is the acromial process. So if you come and see the shaft, so shaft is in turn divided into the lateral 1/3 and medial 2/3. Medial 2/3 means it's nearer to the sternum. Lateral 1/3 means it's nearer to the acromion process. And one more thing, you can see this is the anterior border, this is the posterior border, and this is the superior surface. And if you, for example, this is clavicle, superior surface. So if I turn it backward, this is the inferior surface, right? Superior surface, inferior surface. So this inferior surface is here, this is the inferior surface. So superior surface, inferior surface, anterior border, posterior border. So now we will start, as we know basics. So lateral 1/3. So if you see the lateral 1/3, it's flat, right? It's flat from above downwards, and it is, of course, as I discussed, it has anterior border, posterior border. Anterior border, if you see, it's concave. Always remember, concave means like cave, like it will be like cave. So concave, anterior border is concave, whereas posterior border, if you see, it's convex. And superior surface, if you see, it's subcutaneous, means you can feel it, it's just below the skin, you can feel the bone, right? And inferior surface is having an elevation. If you see on the lateral 1/3 inferior surface, it's having elevation called conoid tubercle, and also it's a ridge called as trapezoid ridge. So if you think about lateral 1/3, just we need to mention all these things. On posterior side you'll have a conoid tubercle, trapezoid ridge. Anterior side it's flattened, and lateral 1/3 the anterior border is concave, whereas the posterior border is convex. So that's things we need to remember. So now we will move on to the medial 2/3. So the medial 2/3 is rounded, and it's anteriorly it's convex. It's anteriorly convex, posteriorly it's concave, so just opposite to the lateral side. And inferior border, if you see, it's a rough oval impression. This rough oval impression is for costoclavicular ligament. And superior surface, if you see, it's rough in the medial part, and inferiorly rough for the oval impression. And next, coming to the lateral half, it has a longitudinal, in the inferior side only, if you see the lateral half, it's having a longitudinal subclavian groove which is in the inferior aspect. And lateral to this you will have a nutrition foramen. Actually it's not seen here, but as I mentioned, this blue color, right, here will be somewhere the nutrition foramen at the lateral end of the groove for subclavius. So next, coming to the lateral end or the acromial end, it is having a facet. This facet will articulate with the acromion of the scapula by means of acromioclavicular joint. And the medial end is a sternal end. It's quadrangular, articulate with the clavicular notch of manubrium, mainly manubrium, and they form the sternoclavicular joint. And next, the articular surface extend inferior aspect to articulate the first costal cartilage. Actually, we're talking about inferior aspect. On the inferior aspect, the first costal cartilage will attach. So actually, as I said, the sternal end will articulate with sternum, right? So in that inferior aspect only, we will also have some articular surface will extend there, and it will also articulate with the first costal cartilage. So now we will see about medial two-thirds. So mainly how to find out the side determination, how to find out medial two-thirds. It will be convex forward, whereas the lateral one-third is concave forward. So by this only you can determine whether it's medial side or lateral side of the clavicle. So next we'll see some peculiarity features of the clavicle. It's the only bone which lie horizontal, and it's subcutaneous, and it's the first bone to start ossifying, and it's the only bone which will ossify inside a membrane, and it's also the only bone with two primary ossification centers. And remember, there is no medullary cavity in it, but not always. Sometimes even it may be present, and it is occasionally pierced by middle supraclavicular nerve. Remember, it is occasionally pierced by middle supraclavicular nerve. So now we will differentiate between the male and female. In the male, the clavicle will be like somewhat long, thick, but in female, if you see, the clavicle will be short, light, thin, smooth, and also the curvature will be less when compared with male. And in the female, the lateral end, mainly the lateral end is little below than the medial end. The medial end will be higher and the lateral end will be lower. But in the male, the lateral end and the medial end may be at the same level, or sometimes the lateral end will be higher than the medial end. So reverse. In female, lateral end will be below, but in male, the lateral end may be higher or sometimes also equal with the medial end. So in the lateral end also there will be formation of a joint capsule of acromioclavicular joint, and in the medial end, of course, the capsule will be present for sternoclavicular joint, and also there will be articular disc which is placed posteriorly. I will show in the next diagram. So here you can find out that capsule for the sternoclavicular joint, right? And also articular disc will be present posterior superiorly, and interclavicular ligament will be present. Why interclavicular ligament? You can see here, this is interclavicular ligament. Between two clavicles it will be present. Actually it will present superiorly. Why? To hold the two clavicles in position so that they will not slip. And next also you'll have, so if you see the lateral one-third of the shaft, mainly the lateral one-third of the shaft, its anterior border, it gives origin to deltoid muscle. So laterally, in its anterior border, deltoid muscle, and the posterior border to trapezius insertion. So posterior border will give insertion to the trapezius muscle. So one thing you need to remember, the original insertions, origin is in the red color, whereas the insertion is in the blue color. So if you see on the lateral side, anteriorly, the deltoid muscle is originating, whereas in the posterior border, the trapezius muscle is getting inserted. Next, inferior aspect. If you see the inferior aspect of lateral one-third, there will be, of course, the conoid tubercle, right, and also trapezoid ridge. So they attach the conoid and trapezoid part of coracoclavicular ligament. So the coracoclavicular ligament have conoid part and trapezoid part. So the both will attach to this lateral part. And next, coming to the medial two-third. So coming to the medial two-third, anteriorly, the medial two-third will give origin to the pectoralis major. So anteriorly, pectoralis major, and rough superior surface give origin to the clavicular head of sternocleidomastoid. So you can see on the superior surface, the sternocleidomastoid is attached, and there is an oval impression on the inferior surface at the medial end, which is giving attachment to costoclavicular ligament. You can see here the costoclavicular ligament. And also subclavian groove is giving insertion to the subclavius muscle. So as I said, only blue colored one are inserted. So here there is insertion of subclavius muscle on the inferior aspect in this subclavian groove. And the margins, coming to the margins, there is clavipectoral fascia. So the margins so just remember that in the margins there is attachment to, in the margins there is clavipectoral fascia. Next, coming to the posterior surface, which is close to the medial end. Posterior surface close to the medial end give origin to sternohyoid. So from where over here on back side the sternohyoid muscle will take its origin, and subclavian artery, cords of brachial plexus pass behind the inferior surface of clavicle. So this is the inferior surface, so behind them, for example this pen, this is like subclavian artery and also cords of brachial plexus side to it, and inferior surface of clavicle. Yeah, all the structures will pass. Next, coming to nutrient foramen, we have discussed already the nutrient foramen will be lateral to the subclavius groove, right? So that nutrient foramen will mainly transmit a branch of suprascapular artery. Very important this one. Suprascapular artery is passing by a nutrient foramen which is lateral to the subclavian groove. Now we will see the ossification. So you can see here the ossification of the clavicle. So they mainly ossified by two primary centers. You can see the two primary centers, they are present on the inferior side, right? On inferior side, not on inferior side, anterior side. What is this? This is secondary center and sternal end, the acromial end. Then this is, I think, the left side of the clavicle, right? So two primary centers are present and one secondary center is also present. So you can see secondary center in the sternal end. So in the sternal end you will have the secondary center and two primary centers in the shaft. So these two primary centers appear in the shaft between 5 to 6 weeks of intrauterine life. So just in the intrauterine life only they start forming, but they fuse about the 45th day. Next, coming to the secondary center for the medial end, during 15 to it start forming in the 15 to 17 years, and they fuse at 21 to 20 years. So they fuse at a very late time with the shaft. So they fuse in the 21 to 22 years with the shaft of the clavicle. So occasionally the secondary center for the acromial end. So sometimes there may be secondary center even for the acromial end. So, but only sometimes, not every time, but every time these both are present. That is, one secondary center in the medial side, two primary centers in the shaft, especially like in the midpoint between lateral and medial 2/3 and lateral 1/3, right? So in the midpoint there is two primary centers. So by this we have completed the anatomy of clavicle. Next we'll move on to the scapula.